Coming up are my psychic predictions for 2018. I'm making these in September 2017. Now this is a short one. I've made lots of little segments in themes and I've put them all together as one long video if you'd like to watch that. So if you enjoy this one and you want to see the whole lot, I've put them on my website. Well, that's the best place to get to the YouTube, at psychics.co.uk. Alright, go to the website, you'll find the video there. Here are my psychic predictions for America now for 2018. First, a review of what I said before. I mean, my predictions hit the news and kind of went viral, didn't they, for a while when I made the predictions in 2015 about Donald Trump, and simultaneously at the same time I made the Brexit predictions. But last year I said that Hillary Clinton will drop out of politics. This has been kind of on the cards, it seems now. It's certainly been in the press. She's hanging in there. And recently, actually, surprisingly, expressed a desire to come out of politics because she actually was talking to one of her friends about becoming a religious preacher as an alternative career. Can't imagine that. But anyway, that's what was said. So that was kind of on the button with that one. I also stated in my predictions for 2017 that America becomes a nation divided between East and West, and that there would be riots on the streets. This happened and is still happening. East and West, it still seems to be a bit that way. Maybe North and South has become more the norm, actually, with the southern states taking down statues and so forth. Certainly America has become that divided nation that I forecast. I was wrong in my prediction partly in that I said troops from neighbouring Canada would be called in to help quell unrest. I certainly felt it was going to be on a big scale. I think it has been on quite a big scale, so those predictions from 2018 certainly came true. Now, coming up now, I'll talk about the predictions for 2018 for America. Now, what I've got here, I'm reading from a list now. An attempt to impeach Donald Trump in mid-2018 fails. Now, I saw sort of new information coming forward. There was sort of a really serious impeachment attempt this time. You know, there's been a lot of talk about this, but I see a real serious attempt, particularly trying to get his tax records and things like this. The problem is it will fail. And it will actually backfire on those people trying to impeach him for political reasons, because I feel he'll become a very popular president, more popular. It's very divided, people are very divided, but the middle ground of American politics, I feel, will begin to swing a bit more towards Donald Trump. Like it or not, that's how I feel, you know. I don't personally have a political opinion about these things. I'm from the UK, you know, so that's not for me to say. I also say that Donald Trump will initiate a massive trade deal with the UK in advance of Brexit that will shake the EU. Now, there's been some talk of this, it has to be said, you know, so, but my feeling and my gut feeling is sort of that I feel that it's this is going to become a major deal, you know. I feel that America's going to be quite economically isolated. I feel stronger divisions with China and also with Russia. China and Russia, I feel, are going to kind of gang together economically against America. So America's going to find a lot of its past markets closing up, and I feel that this will stimulate even more interest in forming a deal with the UK. I also feel Trump and America generally will fall out with Europe. There's going to be a lot of economic problems in Germany, for example. I see airlines going bust in America, in Germany and UK. And so there's going to be a lot of disruption there. I think American markets are going to all shift, but I think Britain and America is a sort of an important economic connection. I did say that in my economic predictions anyway. Going on, the next one. Yeah, I also want to say on that one that the deal that there's going to be a deal with the UK. It's going to include things like arms, very high-tech services, and I think there's going to be something new happening in the motor industry. I'll make some predictions later, but I felt that there's going to be in Britain, there's going to be some new developments in the motor industry. I think American money is going to come into Britain to form a new form of new vehicle, something really top of the range, it's Aston Martin level sort of thing, but also for the common man, right? Electric as well. All right. Again, returning to the full American story, here we go. The Mexican border wall will not be built. I don't think it will ever be built. But I do think that we'll see next year that there will be a border of sorts, in that there'll be a lot of new innovation with things like drones and sensors. It will become a drone and sensor wall. And I think it will be quite effective. A lot of money will go into it. I feel the same amount that Donald Trump pledged in his election pledges will actually go into that wall, so it'll be almost as expensive as building the actual wall. I said here, now I've got another, I'm reading it, I'll kind of preempt myself here. The US will lose trade in the East as China and Russia form a military and economic alliance in response to the North Korea crisis and US protectionism. As I said a minute ago, China and Russia are becoming very close friends, dangerously so in some ways, because there's going to be influences around the world that are going to be pretty hard for America to take on their own. So America is in terms of a nation as the policeman of the world now, is going to find it's going to have to find new allies. So there's going to be a lot of juggling with United Nations and things like that for America to find new allies and new partnerships. We're going to start to see the shift of balance and alliances change a lot, I feel, in 2018. Now, I also saw this. I saw an explosion on a US warship, which actually I felt sank. I saw a sinking US warship. Now, this could be something, you know, immediately one thinks about North Korea and all their rockets and their missiles and things. But my feeling was it might be something fairly benign. Not a warship thing is not benign, but in that it was something like a mine or something took a warship down. Unless I'm picking up something about a terrorist operation on an American warship, that would be pretty hard to do. But there was something about, anyway, what I saw was an American warship sinking. That's about the details. Sorry to be a bit vague, but you know, with these psychic things, sometimes you just get bits of it and you don't know the whole thing. I feel, I talked about the economy earlier on in one of my other videos, or if you're watching the full video, I've spoken about some of this, but the dollar, I feel, will take a tumble. Now, I would actually predict that I feel that might happen in February, but there will be a recovery. Right, so February is not normal time when stock markets have problems. It's usually October time, I think. But I sensed there was a bit of a problem around February time with the stock market and particularly with the dollar. But the economy itself, I feel the American economy will be seen. There will be some weaknesses seen in the economy. There might be a problem with inflation and overvalued stocks and things like that. I'm not a financial person, but I feel that some of the big names like Google and things, their stocks might fall. You know, I think we're going to see a few blue chip names in trouble. I've talked about this in my economic predictions. Overall, though, I think the American economy isn't going to be in trouble or anything like that. I think it's going to do okay. I see economic problems in Europe, particularly, which could ricochet through the whole world's economy, of course, and these problems with trade with China. But actually, British and American economies, I feel, are going to do reasonably well in 2018. It's not going to do as bad as people might paint it. Now, Donald Trump's wife, I was doing some meditations and I saw, what's her name? Melania, isn't it? Melania Trump. I saw an image of her doing a song with the Trump grandchildren, and I kind of think that it was as if Donald Trump and the family do a sort of PR thing to try to sort of get look a little bit more friendly to the world. And I saw them releasing some form of, I think it's a song of some sort that they're doing for a charity. And it actually does very well. People mock it as well, but I also feel that it actually raised quite a lot for charity and raises the Trump's standing in the world as a person, right? I mentioned this in another one as well, actually, on some of the conflict things. I feel America will be, I don't think selling arms to Japan, but I feel that they're going to start this idea of renting military hardware to places like Japan. And you can rent. America will be up for rent. America military will become kind of a mercenary force, people could say, but it's going to be up for rent for the right democratic countries. I think there'll be a lot of controversy about this. When it comes to the things such as the Obamacare repeals and things, as a Brit, I don't really know the full details about this. But my sense is that they're going to sort this problem out. There's going to be a new form of medical treatments in America somehow, I feel, where there is going to be available to the charity wards or whatever it is. There's something new has been brought out that's not insurance based. There's a safety net put in to replace Obamacare, and actually it's Obamacare almost by name in a different form. But just slightly worked out differently in a way. It's like a compromise, you know. So those are the main ones I have for America. I did also have, we had the Grenfell fire here in the UK. I felt as if there was a big fire in America on one of the big tall buildings. Now I'm not, it's not a terrorist attack like 9/11, but I felt as if a big public building went up in flames. I think it looked to me like a casino type place. So maybe it's in Las Vegas or somewhere like that. I felt like it was a public place that all went up in flames. I don't think it's huge loss of life like we had in Grenfell. I think everybody's got out pretty much. But I just saw that. So that's something I feel that hit the news. It's not a terrorist thing, it's just a fire, right? So that's those ones that I feel for America. Now, again, like I said before, I kind of like to, with every negative, let's look at a positive way, because, you know, we have all these things that happen in the world. Again, like I say, we kind of feel a bit helpless. What should we do? What's our remedy for these things, you know? Like I say, the Indian oracles tell me, give me my karma, and I find that they give me a remedy to help solve that karma. So my feeling is, the remedy we need to do, let's think about the USA. The USA is a religious nation, and it's been kind of misguided by religious fundamentalism and literal readings of Christian doctrine and so forth. So from a spiritual standpoint, the USA is suffering from a fear and intolerance, you know, and this results in a sort of a social and spiritual division within America. You know, the division in America is on a deep spiritual level, not just political, I'm saying, you know. So a belief in a sort of loving God should not divide, but really should unite people so that we have more tolerance for those who are taking alternative paths. So my feeling is, you know, in response to the sort of things that I'm predicting for America, you know, spiritually minded people in the USA, I would suggest, can influence their nation's path with thoughts of tolerance and acceptance particularly of all cultures and all faiths. America's always been like this, but it's at the moment there's a religious spiritual intolerance that's just as bad as racial intolerance. So I think hope and prayer are not enough for, that it's got to be a thing of where we really do start to accept that there are tolerance towards other faiths. And that would include Islam, you know. So my thoughts are that sense of tolerance is what's missing in America at the moment. Spiritually, that's where America's going wrong, I think. And we've got such division there at the moment that we need to look much more at the common ground. Always look for the common ground rather than the differences. And then some of those walls, which are in the American people's heart, might start coming down more. Is the future set, or can we change it? In my new book, I take a mystical journey to India to do magical remedies that will change my personal destiny. I open a 5,000-year-old secret oracle that tells about what will happen in the future. I meet strange Siddha yogis with miraculous powers who show me how to eradicate the karma that drives events. What I discover changes everything. We can all change our destiny and maybe together we can change the future of the world as well. Start making that change. My new book, Mystic Journey to India, that has now been made into a major international documentary series, is now available on Amazon.